everyone, it's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing a very quick Christmas card that is based on a video that I watched over at Yvette Olea Creates. She was doing a card lift of someone in her video. Now I'm doing a card lift of Yvette, so thanks Yvette for the inspiration. This is a card that uses paper strips, so it's a great idea if you have leftover bits of paper that you want to cut into 1-inch strips. You could go smaller, but I did all of mine in 1 inch. And because I'm using a pre-made note card as my base, and the note card is sort of a goldy cornflower color, I wanted to make sure that I chose pattern papers from my Pinkfresh Christmas collection that also had that goldy cornflower color. It's like this collection was meant to be used with these note cards that I already had in my stash. So I cut the red cardstock to about 5 1/4 by 4, something like that. But I didn't really like the way the red looked against the note card base. So I'm actually going to take some of the white cardstock that's behind there, and I'm going to mat the red cardstock on top once I finish sticking down all of my pattern paper strips. So again, these pattern paper strips are 1 inch wide. I just liked the size of that. And I'm leaving a little bit of space in between them so you can see the red peeking out. As Yvette did, I'm kind of doing it on a staggered design. I think the original card had everything pretty equal, like making an equal kind of triangle dip straight down the center with the paper strips. So you could kind of do it either way that you want. But I really liked the way that Yvette did it, so that's the way I'm doing it. And again, these pattern papers are from Pinkfresh. I don't remember the name of the collection, but I guess it was from last year's holiday collection. I'm just kind of sticking all of these down with my double-sided adhesive squares. This card took me like no time at all to make. I think the longest part was just figuring out the sentiment that I wanted to put on the front. I actually cut all of the paper strips off camera so that I was ready to go to sit down and make this. And what I like about this Pinkfresh collection, it comes from a 6x6 paper pad, and so all the pattern papers are double-sided, so it was really easy to like just take one piece of paper, but you get 2 patterns from it, which I really liked. And then I just kind of like filled in the top and the bottom with some excess pattern papers just so that it didn't look, it still looked like it was an ongoing pattern up and down, and there wasn't a big gap down at the bottom or at the top. And now I just have to cut off the excess and get this matted on the white cardstock. You don't have to mat it. I just did because, again, of the colors that I was using. And that red cardstock was actually just from my colored cardstock stash, which is great. Like everything I already kind of had. The white cardstock is a brand new piece of paper, but it was in my stash because I purchased a bunch of cardstock a couple weeks ago. So this was like a no-brainer. Again, if you have leftover bits of paper, whether you're making a Christmas card or turning this into a birthday card or whatever, I think this is a great way to use up that paper because you're just using paper strips, so you don't necessarily need a whole bunch of full sheets of paper. Even you don't need a whole 6x6 sheet of pattern paper. So there it is matted. I think it stands out really nice with the white behind it. And then I'm gonna come in and stick it down onto the base. And I like that you can see that goldy color kind of peeking out from behind. And the other side of the note card has just a solid of the gold color. So you're still getting that gold on the note card, and you're getting it from some of the patterns in the pattern paper. And now it comes time to figuring out the embellishment. So I had originally pulled that Pinkfresh cut apart, which I liked, but I didn't really like it. It had a red border on it, and I didn't really like the way it was looking against all the other patterns on the card. So I was like, well, maybe I could back it with white. And then I wasn't really liking that because the white was too much. It was like too similar to the matted white on the card. So then I'm like, well, how about I check out these pop-up wood embellishments that are also from the Pinkfresh collection. And I really liked the sentiment that was on the cut apart that I had. So you see, I tried to ink the edges black just to see if that worked a little bit. And eventually, Yeah, I didn't like the wood pieces either. I mean, they're great embellishments, but they didn't all really go in the size or the orientation that I wanted. They didn't have the kind of sentiment on the front that I wanted. So I was like, oh, why don't, instead of trying to mat the die cut on white, why don't I look through the pattern papers and see if there's a different pattern that I can use that wasn't used in the paper strips, but that would still go with this because it still got the same kind of color scheme. And so I'm choosing that kind of stripy paper or plaid type of paper just to mat that sentiment. And then I'm going to pop it up off the card with some foam squares. And that's pretty much it. I do have some leftover bits. As you can see, the pieces that I cut off the edge of the card, I'm going to save those and try to make another card using the same technique, but just using all those leftover bits. So that's another way that you can use up scraps and really get the most of your stash. Just use up the pieces that you cut off on the edge. And yeah, I mean, this took, like, again, I said this took like no time at all. This process video is sped up, is about 6 minutes. So it probably took me, I don't know, 10 to 15 if you count the time that's spent cutting the paper strips into 1-inch strips, right? So that's pretty good. Easy, fast card. I think it looks great. I can't wait to send it out to people over the holidays. So thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please consider doing so and follow me on social media for more scrapbooking. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.